Hey,
Hey, I am Kirk M. Samuels,
and hey, I am Jason B. Kendrick.
and we are the Men of Masculinity, baby.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
I always do the for you. That's the reference to Prince.
Right.
Did I ever say that before?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, that's the reference to Prince. When he goes, he in the video, I would die for you, and he
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
I would die for you.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
I
in the
remember.
music.
Yeah.
See, I'm Purple Rain. I'm old school about that, man. See, there's method to the madness, man. See, you thought I'd just do that for nothing. No, that's like a reference to Prince.
No.
Shout out.
And we apologize to our radio listeners who don't see us with our hands up in front of the screen.
Hey, but there's a way you can see
Oh,
us.
that is true.
There's a way you can
How
see us.
can they see us?
They can see us, man, if you go to the YouTube page, Men of Masculinity, Facebook page, Men of Masculinity, your mama's page, no, just any page from Men of Masculinity. We are there. You can see what we look like. You can see us like talking in the screen across the table at each other and all that kind of good stuff. You got to like, subscribe, help us get legit. Like, help us, grow this platform and stuff, man.
Help us help you. We're here for you.
we
We
provide,
want to talk to you, talk for you.
we provide input, insight,
Entertainment.
It's free to hit subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It's free to hit like. I mean, it don't cost nothing.
Like and subscribe. And that way, if you miss an episode, say you just checked in at 8:30 on Saturday, you missed the beginning, you can go back and watch
Exactly.
and see what you missed in the beginning. So we're here for you. I mean, it's not just about us; it's about you.
But again, you can see facial expressions. It's one thing to listen to us on the radio on KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City. That's absolutely one of the great ways to listen to us. Our super producer Nikki Nicole puts the show together and put these bad boys out currently Saturdays 8 a.m., Wednesdays 6 p.m. But that's a great way. But then you can see us. You can actually see what we look like. We can look into your little beady eyes, and we can talk directly into your soul.
Now, I don't know there's necessarily a good thing that you see us, although it is one of those fun things when you think you know what we look like.
Right.
And then you, from our voice, and then you actually see what we look like. It makes you feel a little part of the family. You're like, oh, yeah, that's what he looked like.
And then the cool part is you can go back in time and you can see the same two voices connected to two different looking faces. Because when you look back a few years, man, we look different, man. Like, a few years ago, in living rooms and dining room tables and all this other kind of stuff, man. It's just the way we looked and the stuff.
During 2020, when I got fat, my face, I put on 20 pounds just on my cheeks.
Times we had clean shaven, facial hair, short haircuts, long haircuts, hats. I mean, man, I need to wear a hoodie one of these times. Man, I haven't worn a hoodie. I'm gonna wear a hood.
Well, winter's coming.
Like,
I mean, we're in the middle of summer.
Winter's coming. Isn't that a show? Man?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. That's right. Game of Thrones. Anyhow, yeah, man. So that's a great way to listen to us, to watch us, and all that kind of stuff, man. This is your home for healthy masculinity, and we love what we do. So,
yes, we do. And speaking of, since if you were listening last week and you know what we were talking about with that list, now we're going to get into the list.
So what was the
list? So we had the post that I put up on Facebook about a therapist posted, I think it was like 7 things that a man wants in a relationship from his woman. And the feedback was cantankerous, to say the least.
So, if cantankerous means stank, then yes, I would agree.
That's definitely another word for it. Yeah. And for me, when I saw the post initially, I just thought, I basically read the first line that men want more collaboration, less competition. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me post that. That's some good stuff. And then it went down even further in the list and got into sex, loyalty, respect. He doesn't want leftovers, which we can really dig into that. Money, appearance, encouragement, and I mean, and those are so basic.
So what happened? What happened was, you posted this thing in the morning, and then it was like a steak bomb. You tossed it and you left, and you disappeared, and you went away for a day. You went off doing work, and while you was gone, I mean, it got cantankerous, cantankerous in the comments, and while you was gone, of course, all that stuff spilled over into my page. Because our digital worlds are intertwined.
They are.
And I just noticed the common theme. And the common theme was almost exclusively a bunch of women making excuses for and pushing back on the whole idea of why they couldn't or didn't want to, or wasn't this, or if then, and all this other kind of stuff about the whole idea of men having wants, like men want something. And then when I commented on that, then oh man, all hell broke loose, and it just got stankerous.
Yeah. Well, what was interesting was the first couple of comments that I actually saw was, "What is this? The 1950s?" And then so there was a lack of openness to just hearing or listening to or reading the list, and it said what we wanted.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about what we expected, what we demand, none of that. Just what do men want, and it was coming from a therapist who worked with men.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, and this is my own assumption, I'm assuming this therapist was getting the secrets from men that they were not, they were afraid to say in their relationships or not allowed to speak up to and verbalize in their relationships. So, I can see how some of those things might not be the first thing you bring up or something that you bring up too much, especially in the atmosphere of today's relating market, as it were.
I tell you what, man, I mean, in our case, we've been men our whole lives. Not everybody can say that. And so, I mean, when you live in men's spheres and circles, you tend to hear a lot of the same things over and over again. In our case, kind of similarly, you do work with people, but men as well, specifically one-on-one, so do I. So you begin to hear these things over and over again, and these commonalities pop up. And so that's basically what this comment was. And then, or this post was. And then the comments just, like I said, it just got ridiculous. And then some female decided to, she decided to chest up with me and, come back at me. And I had to,
Man, that story gets bigger. It's like a fish story. Every time it gets bigger and bigger.
I had to get the baby powder. I had to give me that baby powder.
You can say it in the face.
Slap. I had to get a baby powder on him. I'm like, come this way with that. I'm sorry, but you might be used to a bunch of, weak dudes just kind of backing down. But, no, I'm sorry. You better check yourself, boy. You wreck yourself. Break yourself, boy. But anyhow, so it went sideways.
It was pretty heated, and it was interesting. There was a fairly clear delineation between the chronically single and those that were in relationships or long-term relationships, because a lot of the chronically single were the ones that were completely against the list, and a lot of the ladies that were pro were like in long-term relationships. And most of those comments were, yeah, absolutely, I do my best to do those things. He doesn't get them all the time. He does his best to do for me. I don't get them all the time. But we're working together on them. And the chronically single were like, how dare you? Yeah. And what is this, the 1950s? And all this which, I mean, we did have the one who did kind of turn and say, initially I was very kind of offended about this list, but it was more about the language of must and should versus what was actually on there. And then he admitted that, well, it was triggering because I'm not even sure I could do those things for a potential man or my man. Yeah.
And as I said, most of the comments had kind of one slant to it. And there was a couple exceptions that were level-headed, that listened, that did the reflection and figured out why I had the response, all that kind of stuff. So anyhow, we spent our last show just kind of talking about the whole idea of men wanting. So we figured, what if we spend this show and just kind of rapid fire through that list and just kind of chop them up a little bit, man, and just fire through them joints. So let's see if we can get through one or two, man, before the break.
Yeah, we're gonna do the first one. So the first one is less competition, more collaboration. He wants a woman who isn't domineering, controlling, a woman who is an alpha, a nag, barking orders, a woman whose feminine brilliance melts him and provokes his desire to serve and honor her. A woman who wants to command, control, will lose the soul of her man. Masculine men are repulsed by controlling women.
Competition is masculine, dude.
Yes.
I mean, the whole point behind the Olympics is that if we as a world, if we get together as countries and compete in friendly competition, then maybe that'll break down some barriers and we won't have as much war. And so, I mean, the whole idea of competition, you get teams from different cities and all, my city versus your city, all this other kind of stuff. The whole premise behind competition is masculine.
Yeah.
If I'm masculine, I don't want to masculine. I'm not coming home to compete. I do that at work all day. I do it on the field, out with my boys. I don't want competition.
Right. Well, there is the good side of competition, which is the teamwork and the coming together.
If you're on the same side.
If you're on the same side,
Right.
That's right. And so, to that point, if you're in the household and there's competition, you're obviously just by definition not on the same side,
Right.
Even though you're the same team, the same household.
Teamwork should make the dream work, right? Same team, same dream. If we're going to compete with anything, it's us putting on our jersey and competing with everything outside of that door. It's like Gladiator. You on one side of the door, whatever comes out of that door, we in this together. I mean, that kind of thing. And so if it's a competition that in a relationship or in the metaphorical household, then it should be, okay, baby, let's come home and let's put on our jersey and let's figure out what our competition is outside of this. And let's come together and do that. But in terms of us against,
and that's the thing. If you're in a relationship together, if you have a strong foundation, then you're building towards something. You have a goal in mind. So the competition should be you together working towards that goal. And so maybe you're competing out in the business world, or you're competing against others who have a similar goal.
Yeah.
It's not about you two competing against each other. And so many relationships fail. I see so much where the competition starts in the household, where she starts competing with him to be more successful, make more money, or he starts getting butthurt because she's making more money or spending more time in the office. And so there's less attention on each other or the relationship.
All right, we got 10 of these. Let's see if we can get another one in.
All right. So, of course, the next one, and probably the one that gets the most attention, is sex.
Uh-oh.
He wants her to initiate sex 10 times more often than she realizes.
Uh-oh.
He wants to feel mutual pursuit, watch as he rises to the invitation. He longs for her to verbally express her desire for him. He doesn't want to feel tolerated. He doesn't want pity sex. Pity sex erodes his desire. He wants her full presence, creativity, and fire.
And how about we get all of that like years after we've been together, not like in the very beginning? I mean, what if we can have the same type of intensity, sexuality, after we've been together a while than when we first get together?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things that is talked about in relationship coaching is how to keep that spark going. Well, if you're not competing, if you are collaborating, if you are on the same team, if you are working towards similar goals, it's much easier to keep the spark going, to keep the fire going. And if you are like a lot of ladies nowadays, and once you get married, you get the ring, and you're just like, okay, it's up to him. That's his thing. That's what he wants. Well, then he's going to get tired after a while. And so if you're like bored in the bedroom and you're not initiating, well, ladies, you may want to start initiating, because it gets tiresome to be the only one constantly pursuing and getting shot down 9 times out of 10.
I almost wonder if, and I never said this before, but it just came to my mind. I've thought this. What if a relational goal should be, we have sex as many times as the number of pillows we have on our bed a week?
A week? Well, then you might.
I mean, because a lot of times she's responsible for the number of pillows that are on the bed, and that's not in question. You can look down, and that's a pretty accurate scoreboard. And so it's like, hey, if you got 37 pillows on your bed, then we got some work to do this week, or maybe we need to have less pillows on the bed.
This
Something along those lines.
It'd be a great thing for those guys that hate all the 10, 20 pillows on the bed and be like, hey, let's get that down to 4.
Girl, we need to go to what's this? We need to go to Pier 1. We need to go to IKEA. We need some pillows. We need some pillows, girl. Then all of a sudden he becomes part of the decorating team.
Yeah, girls, you want your man to start doing some home decorating with you. Let's play that game.
There you
See
go.
how that works.
Something along those lines, or number of towels hanging in the bathroom. I don't know, whatever the number is, but either way, I think the point is, we don't want the entire burden of sexual initiation in our long-term, over the years, to be just us wanting anything. And so, and initiation looks different for every man. So what that looks like, some guys just want you to pounce on them.
Right.
Some guys, just want you to go put on something, or go smell something or whatever.
Well, these are things that you should be talking about in relationships.
Absolutely.
And speaking of talking about in relationships, we're going to take a break, a pause for the cause.
Boom.
KLDC, 1220 AM on the Mile High City. We'll be right back. So if you are watching us on YouTube and you either like or did not like either one of those things, comment and let us know, because we would like to get your feedback so we can address you directly.
Absolutely. I mean, these are, again, everybody has their opinions. we got ours, and so
opinions are like, what?
We want to hear opinions.
Got one.
And if you're watching this bad boy in the long form, if you're watching this bad boy on YouTube, what's your opinion? What would be a good scoreboard in your house? The number of whatever should be the number of times we have sex in our marriage, or whatever.
That's how you make a good relationship.
Like the number of pictures on the wall in the living room, or the number of pictures on the wall. I don't know, some number. I don't know, whatever. The number of bottles of shampoo and conditioner we got in the bathtub.
How many loofahs you got?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Have you seen women, the bathrooms, man, these bathtubs be like, I got a certain soap for this, and I got a conditioner for this one, and that one is my Thursday one. And that one,
I got 5 towels for every bath.
Dude,
I got a foot towel, I got a face towel, I got a shoulder towel, I got a hair towel.
So
I got 1 towel.
That'd be a good gauge. Like, how many bottles or something do we have somewhere in the bath around the bathroom tub? That should be the number of times a week. Anyhow, all right.
So if you're watching this YouTube and you work for Body Armor, hey, we will promote you because delish.
Refreshing.
Love me some of that. All right. Pausing.
And we are back because we are the Men of Masculinity, baby. Men of Masculinity, baby. 12:20 a.m. on that side of the dial, KLDC in the Mile High City, up here on the 12th floor and everything, man. JB, can you move right down the street, man? How's it feel moving right down the street, man?
Well, now that the AC's working, it feels mighty fine.
Oh, yeah, for real, man.
I like that west view. I got the perfect apartment. There's just a gap in the trees where I can see right through the mountains. I can see Kennedy Golf Course.
I'll tell you what, though, if somebody hit a long home run, you getting it on your patio, man. You right there at that, and then I'll feel fit.
If they hit it that far,
they crushing it, through the trees and everything.
Yeah.
But I bet you there's some, some skippies that can.
There might be.
There's probably some dude named Brad that can hit it that far.
Chad.
Yeah, some dude named Chad. All right, man, back to our list. What's number 3?
All right, so number 3 is loyalty. He wants a woman who guards her man's reputation. He wants a partner, not a high school gossiper. He wants a queen that would rather die than commit adultery, a queen who never compares him to other men and is ruthlessly loyal with her fantasy life and social media scrolling.
I used to, when I had a dating profile back in the day, I used to end it with, first of all, mine was way too long, man. Man, I went way overboard, and I was trying to prove something that I shouldn't have been. But anyhow, at the end of it, I said something to the effect of, I want her to be the treasure or the chest in which I can place all my treasures in securely, or something along those lines.
That's what she said.
Well, that's what she said. And see, dude, you stopped me the other day, and now see. When we was moving, I said that about 4 or 5 times, and at some point he was like, all right, dude, that's enough. And stop, man, you sound stupid.
I didn't say that.
But he kind of meant it. Anyhow, so I stopped it, and all of a sudden, whatever. That is kind of what she said. But but the whole idea, man, of someplace safe. Safe, a safe place, man. I mean, women thrive on safety, but so do men. It might look different. Women, it might be physical safety, emotional safety, all that kind of stuff. For men, financial safety. For men, it might be trust. It might be that whole loyalty factor. I got your back kind of thing. It's the Batman Robin, the Tango and Cash. It's the partner of it all, and somebody that's got your back.
Yeah, if I'm going to put in all this effort, time, if I'm going to give you my meat, which is an anagram for money, experience, money, energy, attention, and time. Man, experience really. Money, energy, attention, and time. Well, then can I trust you to be loyal and have my back, or are you gonna be, talking about me, gossiping behind my back? Are you gonna be on social media showing your stuff and looking for the next Chad to step in? Can I trust you? Because we're both, if we're in a relationship, if we're building this together, we're both daring. We're both risking. So are we risking together and trusting each other?
Yeah.
And if there's not loyalty, and I think that's where a lot of guys, they just check out emotionally, mentally. Their security is that emotional security, that financial security with you. Can he trust you with his emotions? Can he trust you with his traumas and pains? Can he trust you with his wallet?
First of all, I just realized our nickname for a meathead is Chad. Any guy named Chad, you got to be a meathead. I think it's Brad. Every Brad I know is like a meathead.
Brad, Chad.
Chad is like just the extra meathead Brad.
And if your name's Chad or Brad, we're not talking about you.
I am, because if you Chad or Brad, you probably meathead. Come see me. Come see me, dude. Come see me. You don't want none of this. Anyhow,
I want to film that.
You know what I want in a relationship in terms of that safe space and that loyalty and trust. I want to be able to even show you my shadow side and have my shadow side be safe with you. Like I can show you all of the parts of me. I can show you my sinner and my saint, and it's all safe in you in terms of I ain't got to worry about, well, girl, either you bringing it up or to me, like throwing it in my face or something like that when I show you my shadow side, or to somebody else, that we can have us. And when I go into my bat cave, I'm in my bat cave and I'm safe with all my bat caveness,
right?
But my Bruce Wayne and my Batman can both be safe with you.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the biggest things in relationships. I mean, real true intimacy comes from sharing your shadow side.
Yeah,
comes from number one, realizing neither one of you are perfect, and you both have that darkness. You both have that yin to your yang, and sharing that. And I think honestly, personally, until you as a person accept that and dig into your shadow side and dig into that yin to your yang and really accept that part of you that you're just like everybody else. You get angry, you have traumas and issues and things, and until you accept them, you're not going to heal them. You're not going to move forward, and so do that in a relationship, and that's that glue that holds you together.
And I want to know your shadow side. I want to know her shadow side. I want to see that, and I want to have that level of. That's the whole metaphor of I cut my hand and you cut your hand and we shake hands and that now we're like blood brothers. Like I got a little bit of yours, you got a little bit of mine, and so we're safe in that. So that's the parallel in that. Like I got a little bit, and so a lot of women, like single women anyway, in the dating scene, think that I gotta hide all of my shadow side, all my whatever from every guy that I come across. Obviously, there's some discernment as to what you reveal and when. But a guy wants to know that you own your stuff, even if your stuff is less than perfect. We all got some stuff, and so it's that exchange of vulnerability of that shadow side. But he wants to be able to be vulnerable even with that, and have you be loyal, man. All right, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably the glue that keeps the relationship together. And I think if you're sharing that, then you're interested in a real relationship. If you're not sharing it, then you're not really there. You're not ready yet. So you get ready to share, stay out the pool.
All right, what's next?
So respect.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that's a woman thing. That's woman. No, it's not. That song was actually written by a man.
Actually, and even before
that song was written by Otis Redding.
It was,
not Aretha Franklin.
And she just sang it better. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it was like an extra song somewhere, and somebody found it. And I don't go look at the story, but basically, it was like a flip of what if a woman sings this song?
Right.
And it blew up, but it was actually meant as a song singing from a man to a woman.
And even before I dig into this little description here, I was watching a social media thing, and they were talking about, and this is one of the things that we talk about quite a bit. There's differences between what men and women are looking for. And for men, it's respect. If you respect us, then we feel loved. If you don't respect us, then we feel disrespected and untrusted and
unloved.
So if you ladies are looking for love, respect your man. If you don't respect him, don't bother.
If you want him to feel love, show him respect.
Right.
And like, there's a conference, Love and Respect. I've been at a conference, I read the book and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty good stuff.
You can read?
I can read, man. Sometimes I read with a lot of pictures.
All right, let's get into this real quick before we got to get our next break. So respect. He wants to know he is wanted and respected. His woman's validation is a nuclear life force. Her emasculation is his kryptonite. She shows respect through her honorable submission, verbal affirmation, eye contact, correcting him in private with gentleness. She speaks her mind, reveals her heart, but also encourages his leadership ability. Man, that corrects him in private. That's huge.
Emasculation is I'm going to use a very loose analogy, very loose metaphor, whatever you want to picture. But I've seen several relationships where the woman emasculates her man, and I've seen the man take it. But I've also seen pretty consistently in those situations, the man checks out at some point, checks out emotionally, checks out physically, checks out sexually, checks out something. In other words, he won't take it for long and still be loyal and still be holistically committed. He'll find a way to check out to get that affirmation from somewhere else. I've seen a lot of, in the work I do, I've seen a lot of emasculated men turn to deep pornography addiction because they get affirmation from their digital mistress that they don't get from their real life wife.
Yeah, and there seems to be a misconception that her losing respect for him because he has checked out, and she thinks her way of getting back is to nitpick and to emasculate him, and it's almost that like negative reinforcement. Like, well, if I emasculate him, maybe he'll get mad and come back. No, that man's already done.
Yeah,
he's checked out. He's out of there. He's done. So, I mean, respect is such a huge thing for men that if you don't respect your man, just do him a favor. Just cut the cord. I mean, or maybe go in and do some intimacy work and learn to respect him again. Start sharing, sharing your traumas together, sharing your shadow side. And you may find that you can respect each other at a much deeper level by being vulnerable and getting into it.
Yeah, giving him that respect is like putting helium in his balloon and it will rise. Now, there's the caveat of, well, if you are with a man that you can't respect or don't respect, you shouldn't have gotten with a man that you can't respect or don't respect. Now, do you sit back in the very beginning and say, I got to look around the entire world for a man that I respect, knowing that you don't have the ability to respect a man? And that's disingenuous. So, but respect is the helium that goes in that good man's balloon. Can we get one more?
Nope. I think it's break time.
Oh, man, we got a couple minutes.
I'm looking for it. Okay. He doesn't want leftovers. He wants a woman who strategically saves energy for him, who does not allow the children, job, or friends to supplant her desire for him. He wants his woman to prioritize their connection. He must not be put on the back burner. He must not be taken for granted, or he will drift and she will misunderstand why.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
That pretty much is. I don't think we have to get too much.
I don't mind leftovers on the stove or the refrigerator. I mean, that's not chauvinistic cooking.
Well, I mean,
if you're a cooker, yeah, I don't mind leftovers. But other than that,
Well, and that comes from time and place too, because like as long as you're loyal to him, sometimes the kids come first.
Right.
Sometimes other things come first,
Right.
but not other men,
Right.
not social media,
or your friends or your family or whatever, which is also a whole other probably a whole other show, which is also why it's difficult quite often for a single mom to get in a dating situation, because pretty much out of the gate, the man's going to be second, third, fourth, however many kids after that kind of thing. But either way, so that leftover thing is pretty difficult, but I think it's pretty straightforward.
Well, it's just something you got to work on.
Yeah.
Be honest about. I mean, when we finally decide to do the single mother episode, that's going to be well dug into.
Yeah, no diggity, no doubt.
So should we pause?
What do you think, man? Let's take a pause.
Let's break.
Men of Masculinity, KLDC 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City, baby. We'll be right back.
Doodles.
Dude, when we get into that single mom,
When we do the single, but that one's probably going to be. We might have to break that up into several episodes.
That's gonna be daggone.
It's gonna get.
That's gonna be a landmine, dude. Ooh, we gonna need security outside the building.
We'll do it with love and
we gonna need escort.
passion.
Ooh, that's gonna be.
Well, she said she's looking forward to it. So Nicole, super producer, knows what's good.
We gonna need some.
We might have to break it up because there's so much. There's so much minutia in there. There's
Maybe
a lot.
we should come up with a list for that one.
Okay.
I think we should work our own list.
We'll sit down with Miss Nikki and come up with a
We
list.
can do that, man. We do our own list and then we can do a post of Mad Men, but then talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we listen to you. We're gonna do what you say.
That'll be deep.
Say.
That'll be deep.
Isn't that right, YouTube? Just do what I say. Hit like and subscribe. Subscribe
now.
Pause. And we're back. Men of Masculinity on KLDC, 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City, 1 mile up and 12 floors.
You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
All right, we need to find out what our official altitude is here rated this floor in this building.
5820 and then probably.
No way, man. Outside this building is not 5820. That's like the steps of the Capitol.
Or sorry, 5280.
5280.
So then probably.
Are we higher altitude here than we are downtown?
I don't even know.
I don't know. We're gonna say we 100 feet here, so we 5380 right now.
Well, you figure in a building like this, the floor's got to be 10 to 12 feet. Those are 10-foot ceilings. Plus, you figure.
Let's call it 54. We 5400.
Yeah, 5400.
Yeah, we 5400. 54. All right, where are we on the list?
Oh, ooh.
Uh-oh.
Strap your seatbelt on.
Uh-oh.
Money.
Money.
Money,
Money,
baby.
money, money, money.
She want money. So, money. She must have self-control. Self-control, and understand that her money habits will either forge trust or erode trust. Is she protecting the home or putting the bank account in jeopardy? Her final expectation must be grounded in reality rather than keeping up with the neighbors.
Speaking of the neighbors, right now that's got screaming Amazon Prime written all over it. How many times does that blue truck pull up to your house? You know what I'm saying? Every day. You get so much stuff you forget what's coming. I mean, you know.
You got the little mat that says, please hide packages from husband?
Something. You know. Lord, and again, I think to me that's a matter of protecting our stuff, protecting us. And, you know, if we're in it. Now, you know, again, how do you manage your couple money? You know, do you have your own money? Do you have your own accounts where you spend whatever you want out of your own account? And then we have a joint account, whatever it is. But either way, you know, if you're a financial burden, a drain on us, like if you are that little plug at the bottom of the tub and we can't ever fill the tub up because that hole is bigger than
is there a hole in your bucket?
You know what I'm saying? Then that could be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and that metaphorically speaking is money, but that's also energy, peace, time. That's a lot. Are you the hole in the bucket?
Well, I mean, if you look at just the normal situation for most men, the women that he does that for, the women he gives money to, are usually younger, and they're just, you know, hot and feminine, and they're not trying to build anything with them. They're just trying to have fun with them. Now, when you get into a serious relationship, that's where you got to get that business mindset and go, okay, what are we building? What are we working towards? And so do you sit down and have a conversation? Say, okay, do we have joint accounts? Do we have separate accounts with one joint account that we pay all the mutual bills out of? I mean, how do you want to do it? That's a conversation you have together.
That's probably one of the things on the list that I thought was maybe a little bit dated. And I say dated because I personally think, and maybe it's just experiential or what, but I personally think there are ways that you can mitigate that whole thing. And like I said, maybe you have the joint account that everything gets paid out of, and then you have your account, I have my account. You can spend every dollar out of your account. I don't care, all the bills that get paid. Don't touch that. You know, the mortgage account. Don't touch the building account. Don't touch the investment account, the vacation, whatever. Don't touch that account, and definitely don't come into mine. So I think, you know, when you know, that one was kind of like, yeah, I get it. But I mean, that's almost kind of assuming that all the money is in one bucket.
Right.
You know, but if you got, you know, 2 or 3 sinks in your bathroom, then you can fill up, you know, 1 or 2 sinks and still have the drain pulled or open on the other one. And, you know,
and nowadays there's a whole new conversation because of the majority of college graduates are women. Like, so is it 60-70% of college degrees are not going to women. So there's a lot more ladies who are making more. Yes. And so now you have to have those conversations about, okay, well, now that you're making more, how do we make this equitable? And, you know, because we do see quite a bit, it does happen sometimes, and this is in general, and we're not speaking about all the ladies, but a lot of times the lady will make more money, and if they're not, you know, at the right mindset, or if they're competitive minded, then they'll start to disrespect their husband or just lose respect because they have been trained to go, oh, well, my man has to be of this echelon and make more.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole other conversation now. Like, in my mother's experience, she always made more than her husband.
Right.
And so wasn't an issue with them. They just dealt with it. So, I mean, these are just things we throw out. So you can think about it. Go, maybe we should have a conversation.
Money management. But if you're the type that, you know, you got to spend everybody's money, you got to have all the stuff, then that could be a slight problem.
Go on with your bad self and leave my checkbook alone.
For real.
So
roll.
Next one, appearance. She must take care of herself. Examples: exercise, hygiene, mental health, spiritual vitality. She must never forget men are visual and desire a woman who wants to show her man how beautiful she really is. Men love it when his woman flaunts her femininity beauty to him alone. Posting selfies of yourself on social media erodes his respect and trust in you.
Ooh. Yeah. I want it to look good, but I want it to look good in my garage.
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, we want you to look good on the town too. We want to take you out and show you off, and you know, when you're with us.
Right.
But it's a very different thing when you're marketing and advertising yourself to other men.
Right.
And this other thing too is like, I think there's when we say look good for us, that people always get into this. That means Victoria's Secret model, 19-year-old. Like, no, look good to me as we age together. Look good to me, is the best you can. So that's going to change and morph as we get older. But, if you want your man to look good and go to the gym, I mean, what's the difference?
If he got with you, he probably finds you attractive. Not even probably. If he got with you, like in relationship, if he's in a relationship with you of any kind of committed, steady fashion, he finds you attractive. So all the head trash from culture and society and what you should look like and what you shouldn't and where your curves should be and where they shouldn't, all that is out of the window because your man finds you attractive. Now, here's something that I tell women. I've done workshops for women, and I even put this in my first book.
Try to tell your girls.
My first book, and I'm speaking to like, the wife that feels like, she's a little bit self-conscious because she doesn't look like she did when they first got married before kids, blah, blah, blah. And I tell them, your husband, he wants to have sex with the lights on.
Yes.
The lights off doesn't count. I mean, it counts in terms of an encounter, but he's visual. He wants to see you. He wants to see what you look like. He wants to visualize you. You don't want him having the lights out because you don't know what he's picturing or who he's picturing. He needs to see you when you are being physically intimate. You need to be visually intimate, and that is his and his exclusively. And in addition to that, I absolutely don't want you performing for the world or for anybody else.
No. And when you're in the bedroom, especially for us men, and I can't imagine it's not the same for the ladies. When you're looking eye to eye, when you're seeing each other's expressions, when you're in that moment together, you want the lights on. You want to have that interaction. You want to have that connection. And yes, we would rather you not share that out there. Now, of course, if you have one of those relationships where you decided mutually that you're going to be open or you're going to go swing or whatever, that's you. Do you, boo-boo. That's your relationship. Just know that the majority of guys, if you are single and you're looking for a guy, we want to be attracted to you. That doesn't mean, and I think that's a good point. It's a great conversation. Have a discussion with your man about what he finds attractive about you and you vice versa. So because I think what happens a lot is we get all this information from media and outside that goes, oh, this is what attractiveness is. Yeah. And it doesn't look like me. So I assume my partner doesn't find me attractive. Well, have you asked them? Maybe ask them. Maybe have a conversation and find out. You might be blown away. They might be like, oh, yeah, I love your jelly rolls. I love your muffin top. I love this and that. The things that you were hating on yourself about, you might be your partner's favorite thing.
We as men also need to make sure we are consistently better in relationship at affirming the things that we like and affirming the things that we find attractive in her, because she has all of the head trash of bombardment all day long of what culture says is attractive or not, and what's sexy or not, and what's beautiful or not. And most of it is marketing, most of it is photoshopped, most of it is in the needle or in something, all this other kind of stuff that they are told they're supposed to be and supposed to get. They're supposed to have, a forehead like a windshield, like smooth, and you can be 50, 60 years old, but you're supposed to have a smooth forehead. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You're supposed to all of a sudden at 40 some years old have lips like Daffy Duck. I mean, it just doesn't. But so we as men need to be more intentional about affirming those things and letting her know. But we do, ladies, we want you to be visual. We want you to care. We want you to try. We want you to make that effort to be visually appealing to us and to appeal to our senses. As men, we are doubly more intensely visually oriented than you are as women.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. We know that you ladies want your man to look as good as he can, though as you age, we both have our little foibles and faults and things, and though those become less important to men because we love you, because we become attached to you, because we have intimacy. Yeah. And a lot of times as you age together and you have that mutual respect and love, those things become the things, the favorite things. Like, oh, I love you, little double chin. I love you. Girl, bring that big butt over here. Give me that.
Man,
I'm telling you.
We already had this conversation, dude. I like some junk in the trunk.
I like them girls that eat.
I like some junk in the trunk, dude. You know this. I mean, I don't like no skinny, man, a dog likes a bone, a wolf likes meat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, So, all those typical stereotypes, most men do not like women shaped like a broomstick.
Yeah. I mean,
period. Some men like women that are fit, maybe trim and that kind of stuff. But the whole idea that you got to be skinny and you got to be all drawn in and
no, I don't need bones to pick my teeth with. I mean, like, and I'll be honest, like I love athletic women.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to love me because I've got the pre-dad bod working, my beer belly going on. I'm not as in shape as I was though. Something that's compatible. I still like to go out and hike and do these things and be fit and do fun things. And can you do that with me? Cool. Yeah. I'd much rather that than you look like a fitness model or a supermodel or something.
But women should absolutely ought to try to turn down the volume on all that social stuff that says the social pressure to look a certain way. If you have curves, boo-boo, driving like you're a NASCAR driver. If you got whatever, if you tall, if you're shorter, if you whatever it is, us men are, there is a man and probably several men that like you exactly the way you are physically.
Yeah. And let's talk about contouring and makeup for a second, or contouring makeup, because you girls are amazing. You are magicians. I see these YouTube videos where you put all this makeup on. It's a lie. Stop it. Be more natural. I mean, if you're going out for a gala ball or something like that, or you're doing a photo shoot, you got to be the best looking you can be. Awesome. If you're trying to get a man, don't do that to him. I mean, it's like you just rip the mask off when you go wash your face. Like you don't even look like what you made yourself up to look like. And I get it. You can make great photos. Instagram is popping. Yeah. But it's not what you look like.
Now, we like the effort. It is kind of confusing. It might be kind of confusing to hear. We like the effort. We also like to know what you're going to look like in the morning. And
you don't want to look like Coyote Ugly where you got
we don't want to wake up like, whoa, what's up, dude? I mean, he's like, yo, who's you, Slim? You know what I'm saying? We don't want to roll over and knuckle up because you look like, our boy Kevin. We don't want to do none of that kind of stuff. So,
speaking of,
Speaking of rolling over,
let's roll over right there.
That's a great place. That's a great place for a break. We'll be back. Men of Masculinity, KLDC 1220 AM. Dude, I've seen some women with so much makeup on, so much that I like makeup.
But it needs to be an enhancement, not a cover up. Right. I think that's like when they do all the contouring stuff. And I mean, some of those videos are, it's like movie makeup. You see the before and after, and it's like you don't even look like yo. But just. My 13-year-old told me yesterday, she's like, I can't wear makeup the first day of school because then I have to wear it every single day. That's true. Yeah, see, that's. Yeah. Mix it up. Variety is huge. I mean, if that's what you want to do, it's your face. Go do it. If you're just doing it for other people, then just don't. Back to the visual thing, though. Variety in the visuality and the visualization is huge. I mean, men love variety. It's a dopamine spike, and so to be able to mix it up like that. I mean, even in a consistent long-term relationship, to be able to mix it up, wear your hair this way, wear your hair that way. To your point, some days wear this makeup, some days wear no makeup, some days, let them see you this, let them see you, let them see you sweaty, with your, after you've been, that's whatever. A great point when you're in a relationship. I'm just talking about when you're trying to get it. Oh, yeah. When you're false advertising and then you wake up in the morning like, why don't he like me? Because he thought you were somebody else. For real. When you go through the Earl Scheib, when you get that Mako level, when you're peeling it off like it's a mask. When you got to spray that stuff on, man, when some dude wearing like all white coveralls got to come in and spray your face down. Oh yeah, we got 3 coats and a protective coating. You got a clear coat. when you got to put a clear coat on your makeup, that's probably a sign that you got a little bit too much. Might be a little thick. That might be a little thick. Like, damn, girl, you smooth. You got to put some turtle wax on that shirt. That's probably a buff or a polish. That's probably an indication. Might be too much.
yeah. When you gotta sham wow that bad boy, you know what I'm saying?
Sham wow.
I mean, yeah,
That's
when you need like some chemical compound to break it down at night.
You gotta use mineral spirits
something
to get it
I'm telling you, man, when you need a straight SOS pad to get it off.
That's something I had a thought the other day. Okay, for all you behind the scenes people, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I had a thought the other day because you know how guys seem to age more gracefully, and it seems like and of course I know some of it's cultural, but like most guys, like they just kind of gradually age. They look the same. But I'm wondering if all of the makeup and all of the stuff that ladies do to their face makes sometimes because you see there comes that point where all of a sudden it's like, and it's not every lady. There are a few that it's like they're just naturally beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if sometimes I had a girlfriend who she didn't want to have the acne on her face.
Yeah.
So she covered it up with really thick base. But then the base aggravated acne.
Yeah.
So it was like she was in this vicious cycle of, well, I don't want the acne. I wish I didn't have to wear the makeup because I don't want to have the acne, but then I get the acne for wearing the makeup and I got to cover it. It's just
I'm not surprised. But I would imagine from like a woman's perspective, a lot of it is like skin care. You know what I'm saying? Where you put the makeup on, but then you got, cleanser and, pores, and you got to like maintain just your actual skin.
Get it all out.
Because otherwise, right. I mean, because otherwise, then later on, you'd be paying somebody to do something to your face to make you look.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm like, maybe enhance a little bit and, for special occasions go out, but be more natural. I think, it'd be, and it might be better all around. It's less work for you.
Right. And that's the thing. I think women do stuff that makes more work for them that men don't even get or appreciate or need. Like we don't
for each other.
We don't even notice. Like we don't even notice, but
did you notice what I did?
Like, no, I didn't. So that kind of stuff.
Oh hell, what did she do?
But see, here's the deal: they get so much pressure from other women. They get so much pressure culturally and media and marketing and all that kind of stuff, feeling like they got to do all this stuff. But men ain't even impressed with it. I'm telling you, I've said this. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many women. Your forehead should not look like a windshield.
Would you use a squeegee on that? How do you?
It should not be flat. I mean, just tight and. You always look surprised.
I said before, we have a hard enough time as men figuring out what you're thinking if we can't read your face.
I'm telling you, at least, if you got RBF, let me see it. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's my thing.
I want to see you frown. I want to see you frown every night. If I make you mad, let me see you frown.
Well, I need to know.
You know what I'm saying? I like
if you're plotting my murder, I need to see it in your face.
Exactly. But if you just look the same all the time because your face is like, paralyzed in place, like that's just it's not natural. And natural, I think natural is always better.
Natural is better.
More natural is always more better.
More better.
I think.
Better. All right, we better cut off that behind the scenes because good Lord, we went on a squirrel hunt.
Men of Masculinity back, baby. KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High. And, man, YouTube, Facebook, interwebs, everywhere. Just look for us, all that kind of stuff. Like, subscribe, get all the behind us. We just had, if you listen to us on the radio, we had this whole conversation. You need to go to YouTube to hear about everything we just got finished talking about because we just went left and right. And back with
you get to hear the dulcet tones of Nikki Nicole, super producer, telling us all about makeup and things.
Absolutely. So, anyhow.
Or maybe not.
All right.
Saying no, maybe you won't be there.
Segment 4. Let's see how many more we can get through, man.
This is actually the last one.
This is the last one? We made it through? Cool.
See, I told you it wasn't that long list. Men are simple.
Yeah, men are pretty simple. Yeah, we don't, and you know what, man? We don't want a lot, but we want like some key stuff.
Right. We don't want, and that's the thing. When we're younger, we want quantity. When we're older, we want quality.
Boom.
And so we don't need a lot. We just want good stuff.
Boom.
What?
Boom. Boom. And that's the thing, man. Because when we're young, man, we'll consume like most cheapest whatever, and a lot of it. When we're older, it's connoisseur. We become connoisseurs of certain stuff when we get older. Connoisseurs of cigars, of brandy, of wine, of whatever it is, even of our women. We become connoisseurs, and we get more hooked in the depth and the width.
Yeah, it's all about a taste. The taste matures as you get older.
Absolutely.
It's all fast food when you're younger, and then it's fine dining when you get older. And there's a reason for that. That's part of the growth. And granted, we've talked about this. Ladies, if your man hasn't done the fast food phase, you might not want to. I don't know. And of course, it's individual. Some guys never do that. But if he hasn't been out there and had his fast food phase, then maybe he's not going to get to fine dining. Maybe he's going to fall back. and be like, I missed something.
The more gray hairs he has, the less wants he has on his list, but the more important the wants he has on his list are.
We whittled down all these. Well, we tried all these different things, and we've experimented, and now we're going, okay, now I know what I don't want. Let's focus on what I do want. Let's make it the best we can make it.
Because we know what we want. I mean, we do know. Now, whether we communicate that is different, but we really do know. You know what you want. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we know these things. Right? What's the last one?
Last one is a big one. This is one of the ones I think is lacking in many relationships, especially nowadays because of the competition factor. Encouragement.
Ooh.
She needs to be his place of rest from the battle. He is battling as a protector, provider, presider. He shouldn't have to battle his woman. He wants her fire, kindness, encouragement, and feminine energy. He wants her to validate his primary masculine insecurity that he does in fact have what it takes. That he is enough, and that's true. I mean, the respect that we get from our ladies when we're looking for it, and when we get that respect, we feel like we have it together and that we can do what it takes, and that we are enough.
A pro athlete will get paid millions of dollars to play a sport and still have cheerleaders on the sidelines. I mean, we need encouragement deeply. We thrive on that. Like, we thirst for that kind of thing. And some of us, in an unhealthy way, quite honestly, some of it, affirmation is one thing, with validation is something totally different. We should never get validation from somebody or something that didn't create us. And so that encouragement, man, that kind of stuff is huge in terms of, I come home at the end of the day and, I got my wounds, I got my scars from the battle, and, it kind of hits a little different when you're a guy, these just the scars of manhood, and a good man, he's kind of out there doing the plowing and doing the work before, in ahead of even what his woman realizes. And so to get that nurturing and all that kind of stuff, that encouragement is huge. And if she doesn't have that to give, it's only a matter of time.
And I mean, that's such a good point that, we especially nowadays when we have dual income households, we both got to go out and work. You've both been out battling. You've both been out there slaying dragons. You want to come home and be able to take off that armor and fall into each other's arms and recoup and talk about your day and let things go. And when you come home and it's more competition, more battling, more fighting, now you're in constant fight or flight. You're in constant trauma. There's no healing going on. There's no real connection. And I think a lot of that is the detriment of many relationships nowadays. You've forgotten what it means to come home to your safe space, to your safe place, to get that encouragement from each other. I mean, you want your man to be loyal, encourage him. That it's very simple. If he's not getting encouragement, just like if you want attention from your man, encourage him, be loyal. Because if you're not getting those things from each other, at some point you're gonna go find somewhere else, whether it's the internet or social media or in real life.
We've pretty much come full circle, because I think this goes right back to the teamwork thing, the very first one, cooperation, where we both come home with the scars and the wounds from battle. I like that picture, that meme of it's a cartoon of like Wonder Woman taking off her outfit. She's got like the scars and all that stuff on her back and all that. And so absolutely, women have all those kinds of things. I think a good man has a heart to come in and to nurture and to cover his woman's wounds and to think about those and to try to meet her needs ahead of time. And us as men, it should not get lost that we, at the end of the day, love the idea of us just coming home. What if that was the intent or the purpose or the routine or rhythm when we both get home from work, to nurture each other's wounds, to nurture each other's, man, how powerful would that be? Just to serve each other. Like, at the end of every day, you've got somebody that's waiting to serve your needs at the end of that day, to help you heal and recuperate for the next day.
And it's mutual. We've talked about it before when we were talking about how to get your woman who's been in her masculine all day out in the business world, out there slaying her dragons, and you want her to get into her feminine. Why don't you be supportive as a man and do that? And then once you help her drop the masculine energy and get her in her PJs and put her hair up and get her a glass of wine or whatever and help her calm down. And then ladies, once he helps you calm down, you can flip the script. Because I see a lot of guys who will martyr themselves and be like, all right, baby, whatever you need. And what do you need? I'm good. They don't ask for anything until they end up imploding.
Yeah.
So just know that it's a reciprocal thing.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of us, we get stuck in service, especially as guys. If you come out of the nice guy syndrome, now you have a good woman, you're in a good relationship, and you're deep down afraid to lose that. You may overcompensate, but if you're not receiving, you can't give from. I mean, Kirk's one of his best sayings is, "You got to give from the saucer, not the cup."
Yeah.
You know, you want your cup to overflow, give from the extra. If all you're doing is giving and you're not allowing her to help fill your cup back up, man, then at some point you're going to be giving from empty vessel.
Yeah, you want to give from your resource and not your source. And to that point, you know, somebody told me a long time ago, you can only be a good giver if you're a good receiver. And so in the context of that want is, I am absolutely committed in this good relationship that we have to filling your cup, to nurturing your garden, to all those kinds of things. And at the same time, I want that too.
Yeah.
I want to know that there's somebody that cares as much about my cup as hers. And she doesn't only see the world through the lens of her cup being empty or full, or where her cup is and what she get and don't get and all that kind of stuff. She has a good man, and her good man is intentionally thinking of ways to fill her cup. And ideally, she does not take that for granted, and she remembers that when it's time, you know, when over time, as he pours out into the saucer, that his cup level is going down, and she's thinking that as well.
Well, I mean, and just reminding everybody that those ways that we reciprocate and we give to each other and we fill up each other's cups look differently. Ladies, respect your man. Men, love your woman.
Yeah,
those things look different, but they fulfill the same purpose. And we're filling each other's cups. We're being that safe space. You know, we're home base. You know, you ever played lava or you know, the ground is lava or whatever. Tag is home base. Now you've done played tag. You've gotten over the lava. Now you're home. It's home base. Now you're safe, and now you can drop the guard. You can breathe. You can relax, and you can come back to finally, probably for the whole day, come back to being yourself again.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain, and we are lining up on runway 61 left.
Hey, Captain, how come you don't let me fly?
Because you're crazy.
It's just that one time I wanted to do that loop-to-loop.
On landing? Yeah, let's not do that again. This is your captain. We're going to bring this thing in for landing here, and I'm going to thank you for riding on Madman Airlines, and we hope that you enjoy this again pretty soon. Leave your baggage here. You don't need your baggage and luggage. But if you're one of the dummies out there that wants to take your baggage, so it becomes luggage, it'll be on Carousel 8.
I think you should.
What do you think, Big?
I think they should leave their baggage behind. I think that was a very short and to the point list. It covered a lot of things, and I think you're right. It didn't basically come back full circle, and I don't really think there was much on there that you should be upset about. So, yeah, I'm a guy. What do I know?
No, you know a lot. I don't think any of that was too outlandish. The whole point behind all of this was men wanting. Men do have wants. Men who have done their work should be clear on their wants and should be able to communicate to their wants and own their wants and not settle for somebody that doesn't care about. If she doesn't care about your wants, if she doesn't show up in the presence of your wants, then she doesn't want you. Right. She wants to consume you. She wants everything that she can get from you, but she doesn't want to be there for you or contribute or produce or anything like that at all. So I don't think any of that is totally outlandish. And all the way back to the original post when that came out, you know, if you're a woman and if you're offended by that, then you probably shouldn't be in a relationship and you should get out of the dating pool because you're an invasive species and you're gonna like eat up all the good ones.
We won't use the C word. I mean, the cancer word. You meant the other C word. I just realized when I said the C word, that could go both ways. That was pretty bad. So anyway, if you are out there looking for good men, you might want to know what he wants. Yeah. And if you want him to want what you want or to take care of your wants, it goes both ways. Yeah. But we love you either way. So
this should be a conversation this should be a conversation fairly early on in the dating process, relationship process. So
maybe not the first date, but
maybe not the first one, but maybe second or third, I would think. You know, what do you want? Like, what do you want in a relationship? Because then that's an easy way for you to gauge, am I available or able to give that? If somebody wants peace, but you know your life is hectic and you're bitter because you're spread thin and you got nothing to offer, then maybe it's not a good fit.
Yeah, if you're cray cray and he wants peace, maybe you need to go say bye, Felicia, and go find cray cray.
If you want some fancy red bottom heels, once a month, and homeboy, he's a great guy, but he ain't rolling like that. He ain't got the bag like that. Then maybe this ain't a good fit, right? So either way, these are great conversations that you should have. But the whole idea of a man wanting something, if that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Don't want to be right. We love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend.
Mad Men out.
Peace.